what this report is saying is that actually Belgian troops who were patrolling Brussels Central Station, quote, according to this report, neutralized a person after a small explosion, and this is being cited as to a police spokesman, and they're saying that the situation is under control. This report, Ali, I should note, is also saying that the station is pointing out that the station is adjacent to Brussels' historic downtown area, and that it was packed with tourists and locals on a hot summer evening. It really has been hot and very late nights here in Europe in the recent days.
And we're just looking at a picture
from that
here.
Perspective, there may have been many people.
We're looking at a picture. It's on screen now. Oh, it's from inside the station. Hard to see here. That appears to be flames or a fire, possibly at the site of the explosion. In an otherwise doesn't look to be anybody there except this one person in the foreground of the photo, who's obviously looking toward that site, maybe running to create distance from between themselves and the explosion. But obviously, in a public place like that, regardless of whether it's a large or a small explosion, we're not used to having explosions in public places, and one is always worried about what's next if that's that explosion. So that's what we're looking at. To Keir's point, there's a major tourist site about, not even about 700 feet actually from the station. And Keir's been referring to last year's incident. That was on March 22nd. 32 people were killed when suicide bombers detonated explosives at Brussels, at a Brussels subway and at the airport. And hence, you've got Belgium authorities on high alert in Brussels, which is why when something happens like this at a major site, the response time for military in this particular case was very, very fast, and there would always be a police presence on the site. I want to bring in MSNBC's law enforcement analyst, Jim Kavanagh, who unfortunately I only ever speak to when things like this happen. Jim, I don't know if you've been able to gather any information on this, but based on what you are hearing, a small explosion or series of small explosions at the central station, one suspect neutralized by police. We believe that suspect has been shot. We don't know the condition of the suspect. No other injuries. What do you make of it, given the little information you know?
Well, of course, the major lead categories are going to press on is terrorism, bombs or multiple bombs in a public venue like that in the center city, Ali, is, it's pretty obvious to all of us and the police that that's what they're going to press on. The crescendo of terrorist events in Europe, just seems to build, and whether the actors are inspired, ISIS, Al-Qaeda types, or directed, they have this tempo going. Manchester, London Bridge, Westminster, and even the revenge attack on Muslims, which of course was terrorism and hate crime as well. But that even plays into the tempo of killing. And so that's, we're seeing that picked up in Brussels. As far as the bombing in the central station, the biggest piece here is that no major injuries reported, and one of the bombers shot. We don't know dead or wounded. And one of the big questions police are going to have is, was this guy a suicide bomber, or was he a bomber who was just going to leave bombs around? Because it's kind of a different animal when you're investigating it. A person that leaves bombs around and escapes becomes ever more dangerous for you because he can do that repeatedly. The bomber that dies is just basically the delivery man sometimes, and if he made the bomb as well, like we saw in Manchester, then he can't make another one.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.